This is a brand new DJI Osmo Action 4 and we've had the privilege of testing it for the past few weeks thanks to DJI sending us a pre-release version. Also, we're going to be doing a giveaway of this brand new action cam as well as the famous DJI mic, so make sure you stay tuned to find out how you can take part and hopefully win one of the best mic and action cam combos on the market. In this episode, we'll be comparing it with the GoPro Hero 11 and checking out all the new features as well as the classic ones like Stabilization, Hyperlapse, Horizon Lock, and much more. Contrary to what you may think, this video is not sponsored by DJI, so even though we always give our honest opinions, this time there won't be any room to think otherwise. Let the facts speak. So guys, there's a reason why we always start off with the video quality for these action cam comparisons, because that's what the majority of people want to see. The GoPro Hero 11 can shoot at a maximum of 5.3K, while the DJI Osmo Action 4 is able to shoot in 4K. What you're seeing on the screen right now is 5.3K 30 FPS on the Hero 11 and 4K 30 FPS on the Osmo Action 4. Tell us what you think about the video quality and make sure to leave a comment right under the video. It's not a surprise that 5.3K resolution looks a tad better than 4K resolution, but the GoPro does seem to look better when you focus on the fine details. You can feel the presence of HDR a bit more, and it's also possible to realize the active noise reduction running in the background of the Hero 11 when we crop the footage in. What we also want to look at though is a direct comparison of 4K video, as this is currently the most commonly used resolution. The Osmo Action 4 fares better here as this is a more equal comparison, but in the end, the Hero 11 is still a step ahead. What I straight up realized was that the details on my shirt are more visible on the right side, with the logo and letters having higher clarity. Cropping in will bring the noise reduction of the Hero 11 into the spotlight once more. While there isn't a huge difference, it's still a positive that I would enjoy experiencing while editing my videos. 4K 120 was a positive experience from both brands, and in fact, the DJI Osmo Action 4 does look slightly sharper here, with the GoPro Hero 11 opting to go for a softer video. Regardless, the difference in quality is minimal until the point where you crop in and see once again the better noise reduction from the Hero 11. But that is not all. You're also able to shoot in 10-bit, which gives you more options to color grade your footage in post-processing, as 10-bit saves much more data from the camera sensor. This is required when shooting in a log or flat profile, which allows you to capture enough dynamic range, but needs color grading to make the video complete. After shooting in these formats, we color graded the footage and also commented that it was easier to do this on the GoPro Hero 11 compared to the DJI Osmo Action 4. Well, that was all for video quality. If you're interested in fine details like me, here is a list of exactly which frame rate you can shoot at depending on the resolution of the footage. If there's any part that stood out to you, feel free to leave a comment. You can also like and subscribe to us to keep up with our latest reviews and comparisons. Now it is time to take a look at one of my favorite features on action cams, which is TimeWarp on GoPro and Hyperlapse on DJI. This is a stabilized video that is sped up during post-processing, giving you a cool result like the one you see on the screen. For the most part, both of them were pretty good, giving us the good quality results that we've grown to expect from the software of higher quality action cams like these. However, there were one or two instances where the Osmo looked like the stabilization was slightly faltering. To be fair, we did test this before it was released, so no doubt they will take a look at this in due time and find a suitable solution with a quick software fix. About that software though, arguably, the most important part is the stabilization, right? I mean, it is an action cam and it's not usually used for just calmly walking around. This is why you should keep it on while moving around a lot, or you'll get pretty bad results like the ones you're seeing on the screen. Getting kind of dizzy here, so it's time to move on to rock steady on the Osmo and regular stabilization on the Hero 11. To my pleasant surprise, rock steady is really good and I was shaking the camera like crazy too. GoPro's regular stabilization can't compare, so without wasting any time, let's turn on the boost mode of GoPro, which is the highest level of stabilization, as well as the rock steady plus. Now we are talking. Both are pretty cropped in, but for good reason. Solid performance overall from both action cams, but in the end, DJI takes the cake here. Oh, and by the way, if you guys have any sort of advice until this point, let's hear it. And meanwhile, check this cool feature out. This is called Horizon Lock on the GoPro and Horizon Steady on the side of DJI. By all means, an amazing feature because not only are you able to get the most extreme shots while keeping the subject steady in the frame, it also works much better than regular stabilization like Rock Steady, as you don't get stutters while turning corners and rotating around while using, for example, a drone. On the GoPro, you can shoot in this mode at 5.3K resolution, while on the DJI, 4K will ensure you're guaranteed stability up to 45 degrees, so if you tilt the camera too much, the frame will rotate. To get the same effect as on the Hero 11, you need to shoot at 2.7K resolution. I would say that this is still a fairly new feature compared to when action cams first came out, so I'm glad to see constant improvements in this regard, allowing users to experiment more and more with the different types of footage that they're trying to take, which brings us to Timelapse, known as a sister of TimeWarp and Hyperlapse. This feature bundles a bunch of photos together to make a video, and the reason for this mode being useful is the reality of videos that last hours taking up a ton of space, which isn't really optimal. The Hero 11 is a bit more detailed once again, and this becomes more obvious when we crop in and pay attention to the name of the hotel. So GoPro, overall, great camera, but when it comes to usability, you often see it lagging behind the other models. Take for instance the DJI. All you have to do is click these two clamps here and just pull the camera off. As you can see, it has a magnetic base which allows you to just push it back and it's all attached. Whereas on the GoPro, you have that regular system of unscrewing this, pulling it out, putting it back, and putting it in. So they do kind of lag behind, but we do hope that in the GoPro 12, they're gonna make a lot of positive changes in this regard. I really enjoy using action cams because they're small and handy, and having ease of use improving features like this definitely makes the whole experience more fun. It is getting a bit tiring though, waiting for GoPro to do something about this screw and the whole body belt thing that you have to put on, so I think it's kind of fair to say that DJI has something going for them in terms of adapting to futuristic designs. Without adaptation, we can't survive. We have to keep getting better and better with what we do. And at the end of this motivational speech, we can definitely check out the field of view options that these cameras present us with, starting off with ultra wide on DJI's side, which is slightly wider but makes me look a tad bit too compressed, while hyper view looks to be taller. Next up is super view on the right, and I guess it's pretty self-explanatory, being a cropped version of hyper view while still maintaining a decent field of view. On the other hand, utilizing the wide view on both of these action cams will result in the Osmo showing us both a wider and a taller field of view compared to the one on the Hero 11. Lastly, we have standard and linear, which is apparently from the footage having no warping around the edges. DJI is still maintaining a wider and taller field of view here, which rounds out this category on our way to talking about a feature that I really enjoyed due to being a person involved with creating content for social media. The resolution you're seeing on the screen of the DJI Osmo Action 4 is 4:3, and the one on the GoPro Hero 11 is 8:7. This can be particularly useful for you social media enthusiasts because now the resolution is so adequate that you're able to crop in without losing that much in the first place. Apart from me being kind of skeptical about this while explaining it because I wasn't directly able to check out if it worked well or not, this is a pretty cool feature. I do mention that it's quite useful for people that are interested in shooting videos for social media to retain the quality while being able to adjust the format to suit mobile devices. Something else that looks cool on a small screen is the ability to flip-flop around with the camera with no detriment to the stability of the video whatsoever. So finally, we are at another one of my favorites, slow motion. 4K 60 is what we're starting off with, and I apologize for my terrible jumping skills as this trampoline wasn't the most stable one that I've been on. I'll try to improve my technique for the next video. Meanwhile, we can also look at 4K 120. I was really dizzy after spinning on this for minutes, so I hope you guys recognize the sacrifice that I made just to bring you this funny footage. Afterwards, the last one we're going to move on to will be 1080p 240 on the Osmo and 2.7K with the same frame frames on the Hero 11. At this point, the quality difference does start to come into light, but overall, both of these action cams have the required utility to shoot pretty good, with GoPro going the extra mile by including the higher resolution at 240 frames. I just love slow motion footage with action cams, especially when people are doing sports like snowboarding, but speaking of footage, the video part is just half of it. Well, maybe a little more than half. It never hurts to have a good quality mic integrated into these small packages, so let's do a little test. And here we're going to be focusing on the mic quality because even though you do have a chance of getting an external mic, I do prefer having a good quality mic on these action cams. What you were just listening to right now is the GoPro Hero 11's mic quality, and we're going to be switching it over to the DJI Osmo Action 4. And I've heard that some people do think that it will have a good mic, but we're just going to make sure for you in this one. And it seems that the comments that I mentioned were actually correct. The audio quality of the Osmo Action 4 is really clean, and this personally is something that I really pay attention to, so good on them. Meanwhile, for your enjoyment, we also have some photos. Can't have an action cam comparison without taking photos since, let's be real, they are cameras. I think I overall prefer the photos on the left coming from the Osmo. While I do like clear photos, I work with photographers, so it's not a surprise that I also like natural ones. The shadows in the sky are better managed on the photo sitting in the left corner, as there is an overabundance of brightness on GoPro's side, something we also saw in our comparison of the GoPro Hero 11 against the Insta360 Go 3. Everyone has a choice, but ours will be DJI once again. Before we finish, we do bring you a new podcast, and its name is Overheating. It was actually supposed to be battery, but we couldn't do a full test because they ended up shutting down before the batteries died out. In 4K 60, the Osmo passed out at 11 minutes and 30 seconds, while the Hero 11 managed to stay alive for 23.5 minutes. 1080p 60 was no different, in which the Osmo hung on for 21 minutes and 17 seconds, with the Hero 11 going for 36 minutes and 4 seconds. Even in 1080p 30, the Osmo was still overheating, so we really do hope they find a solution for this because it prevents the user from doing things like interviews and recording during marathons. We personally didn't have any issues because we don't record for that long, and also that we were outdoors, so the wind and the weather could also play into the situation, just for you to keep that in mind. It was a fun video, and we hope that you feel the same way. Our opinion is that we thought that this would be the action cam that would finally overtake the GoPro Hero 11, but it feels like it just fell a little short. Also, to enter the giveaway of the Osmo Action 4 and the DJI mic set, which is our choice of mic for our videos, click the link in the description and follow the instructions to increase your chance of winning. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and we will see you soon. Take care.